El Segundo, California is our latest stop on our training camp tours. The Chargers are up next, heading into year 2 in the Jim Harbaugh era, and quarterback Justin Herbert in year 6, eyeing football beyond the month of January. Well, straight from the Bolton, El Segundo, now joined by two-time Super Bowl champion CBS Sports NFL analyst Bryant McFadden. As there's high expectations for LA in year 2 of that Jim Harbaugh regime, but just considering that talent and their depth they added in the draft, another year for Justin Herbert and locking down a cornerstone on his blind side. But history hasn't quite boded well for Harbaugh's teams in year 2. But what's been your impressions of this team as you stay out there in El Segundo?
Well, Kiana, the energy here is very, very high. They're super optimistic. We talked about the success in year 1 with Coach Harbaugh getting into the playoffs. That was a plus. That was a success. But now they have their eyes on bigger things in terms of not just getting into the playoffs, but trying to get a little more comfortable from what they did not do last year. And it starts with the quarterback in Justin Herbert. He had a really, really good year in year 1 with Coach Harbaugh. 20-plus touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, his lowest mark throughout his professional career. But we didn't see the same efficiency in postseason play. And that has been the issue for Justin Herbert in terms of what we've seen most recently in the playoffs. So being able to have that same regular season success in the postseason is very, very important for their ability to make a long run in the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs certainly a big barometer of the Chargers' success this season, which we're going to dive more into in just a bit. But as we've witnessed over the last decade, that doesn't come easy in this division. 2 things the AFC West isn't short of, that's talent and future Hall of Fame coaches, especially now with Pete Carroll as the latest Super Bowl winning head coach to join the division. So, B, I want to get your rankings. How would you rank this collection of Super Bowl winning coaches with a history of deep playoff runs?
Well, Kiana, I think it's safe to say it's easy in terms of who the top dog is at the head coaching position in the entire AFC West. It's Andy Reid. No debate, nothing to talk about. Andy Reid is number 1. Then number 2, for me personally, Kiana, I got to go Sean Payton. Of course, he's won a sticky Lombardi, and seeing what he did in year 1 with Bo Nix, being able to get into the playoffs, seeing a really, really good player, be able to develop and showcase the skill set that is needed at the quarterback position. A lot of that has to do with Sean Payton. So I have Sean Payton number 2. Number 3, I go Coach Harbaugh. And the reason why I go Coach Harbaugh is because Pete Carroll was on the couch sitting down a year ago at this time. So with him not being involved in coaching, being active, I got to give the nod to the number 3 spot to Coach Harbaugh, but I have Pete Carroll 4th kind of by default because he didn't coach a year ago.
Okay, so just given his year off, maybe playing a little bit of a role in how you're viewing these coaches, which I think when you can look at their entire bodies of work, you can look at what their roster's on, but I think I can't disagree with you where we're sitting with that number 1 and number 2 sitting there in the AFC West. But hey, as I mentioned, the playoffs, that's going to be a massive barometer for the Chargers' success and their future, specifically Justin Herbert, who's heading into year 6, but winless in the postseason, owning an 0-2 record, and most notably, and I hate to bring this up, but I feel like I have to, blowing that 27-0 lead against the Jags back in 2022. But how much, if any, pressure this year is on Herbert, not just to perform, but also prove himself in the postseason?
I think there's an abundance of pressure because of his talent, the skill set. When you look at some of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, just on pure talent and just physical attributes, I think you would have Justin Herbert in every conversation. And that's why the barometer is very, very high for a guy like Justin Herbert. So we've seen him flourish. We've seen him do more with less, especially a year ago when it came to the wide receivers, being able to make sweet tea with no sugar. But we need to see the same thing happen in postseason play. And you talked about blowing that huge lead against Jacksonville. It wasn't solely on Justin Herbert, but you know how it is. When you're the star quarterback, you receive more of the blame than any other position on the football field. It's been that case forever, and it's not changing anytime soon. So to whom much is given, guess what? Much is expected. So that's what we need to see from Justin Herbert moving forward, because when you look at his last 2 postseason outings, as you see there in your graphic, not the level of production you would like to see from your star quarterback, especially a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who's overly talented, very, very smart, athletic, and he has a cannon attached to his shoulder.
Absolutely, and you're looking at that performance performance from last year, those 4 interceptions. Well, that was a season high for Justin Herbert coming in that loss to the Texans. But you said doing more with less. Well, it doesn't help Herbert when he's down a reliable wideout. Free agent addition and former Charger Mike Williams announcing his sudden retirement just ahead of the start of training camp. Now, with Williams out, the Chargers now have the youngest receiving core in the NFL. But how do you envision them just adjusting this season without that veteran option now?
I'm very, very concerned because a year ago we saw Bryant McFadden emerge to be wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert, and he did not disappoint. But when you talk about a team like the Chargers, Kiana, having, high expectations, someone else is going to have to come to the party. Bryant McFadden cannot be the DJ. He can't be the guy serving drinks. He can't be the guy, making sure everyone is accommodated. He needs help. So someone else is going to have to come to the party and bring some chips, bring some dip. And that is needed to happen throughout this process in training camp. Bryant McFadden did not practice today, and the passing game wasn't overly efficient. So you can tell some of the younger guys are still trying to figure things out. And that's why I believe when you look at the overall career for Justin Herbert, this might be that 1 year where he's going to have more pressure on him to make the other players around him better because of the lack of experience. You see it there. Bryant McFadden, Quentin Johnson, and Trey Harris. Trey has yet to catch a pass in an NFL game because he's a rookie. But because of the depth or the lack thereof, he's been anointed as the number 3 wide receiver option for this said team. So those are high expectations for a young guy coming into the fold, and he's going to hear his name called more than none. So I believe when you look at the quarterback like Justin Herbert, no question he has the talent to make some of those other guys better, right? But he's going to have to do that week in and week out because unlike a year ago, they're not going to surprise anybody. When you play against the Chargers, regardless of what week it is, Kiana, you're going to give them their best effort because you know they will be a well-coached team. They're going to play hard, and you don't want to allow them to get the nod up on you in terms of the win column. So this is a very, very pivotal year in terms of the pass catching position because I do believe, especially with Mike Williams, the unexpected retiring from Mike Williams, it really puts this wide receiver room in concerns in terms of depth.
Yeah, put a lot of pressure on this young group because like you mentioned, and I love the analogy, Bryant McFadden can't be the DJ, the caterer, the bartender, the host. He can't put together the entire party. He's going to need a little bit of help in what you call a pivotal year. But the Chargers should be feeling at least confident in their latest backfield addition. Chargers first-round rookie Omarion Hampton catching plenty of attention so far through camp. Chargers offensive coordinator Greg Roman saying Hampton looked spectacular, his words, this week in padded practices. But I want to get what you saw to the rookie out there in L.A.
Oh, he's very, very explosive. You can tell he has the unique contact balance that is needed for outstanding running backs. He has a burst. He has the quickness. He has everything you would want your running back to have plus more, and he is hungry. I had an opportunity to talk to Omarion one-on-one. Man, he is excited about this opportunity. And unfortunately, because of the injury to Najee Harris, the veteran who they signed from the Pittsburgh Steelers this past offseason, he hasn't been able to participate. So guess what, Kiana? Omarion has received so many of the reps in terms of running with the ones, getting acclimated with quarterback Justin Herbert. So this could be a blessing in disguise for Omarion Hampton because even when Najee Harris comes back, I do believe it's going to be a duo type of situation in the backfield. You look at Greg Roman, where he's come from. You look at Coach Harbaugh throughout his coaching career. They love utilizing multiple backs. But just that 1-2 combination of big physical runners that could provide the element that is needed for this offense to be really, really good is something that I expect to see, especially when Najee Harris is cleared and ready to go. Absolutely.
The Chargers may be having that 1-2 punch, but also maybe you're dropping some fantasy gems for everybody listening right there. So I'm going to pocket that one right there. B-Mac, as always, thanks so much out there in L.A. Stay cool. Well, it's a tale of two tapes for Justin Herbert. Last season, he threw for over 3,800 yards with 23 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. He owns NFL records for completions and passing yards for players across their first 5 seasons, but 0-2 across his postseason career. Chargers added playmakers around him. Could 2025 be the year the tides turn for Herbert in the playoffs?